Alaska. It's a trip of a lifetime, but before you book, you need to know what's the absolute best way to see it all, and how much will this epic adventure really cost. In this video, we will look into one of the most popular options, an Alaskan cruise. Together, let's find out if this iconic cruise is truly worth your money. Let's start on the Royal Caribbean website. The first tip is that Royal Caribbean has a tremendous amount of sales and deals that they are offering year-round. I would suggest first creating a free account. This will let you save cruises you're interested in and join their email list for any limited time flash sales. Royal Caribbean has dozens of cruise ships, routes, and prices, so this will help you best keep track of the deals that you see. Alaska cruises only run from May through September. Prices are lowest in May and September and highest in June and July. This can be due to the weather as well as the peak time to see wildlife. If you're flexible with your dates, choose May or early September to get the best price. You might save even 20 to 30%, and the cruise ports are usually less crowded. Royal Caribbean usually sails from Seattle or Vancouver for an Alaska cruise. Seattle is going to be more convenient for US travelers, while Vancouver may offer more scenic routes, for example, through the Inside Passage. Some of these cruises are going to be round trips and some are going to be one-ways. The cruise in this video sets sail on the Anthem of the Seas from Seattle, Washington in early September. This is a common itinerary which you might see for a 7-night cruise from Seattle, beginning in Seattle to Sitka, Skagway, Juneau, and then Victoria in British Columbia. When it comes to pricing, keep in mind that Royal Caribbean is doing deals year-round, but the cabins can range from $900 for an inside room to up to $2,500 for a balcony or a suite. Now, for Alaska, I would say the balcony is definitely worth it for the opportunity to see glaciers or whales right from your room. If not, grab an inside cabin and then spend more time on the excursions instead. It is generally recommended to book 6 to 9 months in advance for the best selection, but if you're flexible, Royal Caribbean's last-minute deals page will sometimes list unsold cabins at huge discounts, about 30 to 60 days before sailing. Now, I had never personally been to Seattle before this cruise, so sometimes choosing a port city that you've never been to can also be a fun option as well. When you first board the ship, and once you've cleared all the safety trainings and requirements, go all the way up to the top deck for an insane panoramic view of Seattle. The Anthem of the Sea has something unique called the North Star, which is able to raise you up to give you an even better 360-degree view. Note that when the ship is docked, this is free to book. You just have to walk right up to the attendant and sign up. But when the ship is sailing, it's going to cost money to go up on the North Star. More information on pricing: Royal Caribbean upsells everything, meaning you can add on drink packages, exclusive dining, Wi-Fi. So my advice is to figure out what is important to you. Royal Caribbean is going to have a ton of things to do that is going to be included for the price you pay up front. Now, I don't personally really drink, so you can save money without a drink package. And personally for me, I think the only add-ons that are worth it would be the Wi-Fi and the excursions that you will book. Now, when it comes to booking the excursions, it may be cheaper to book with a third party rather than directly with Royal Caribbean. But be aware, if you are not back to the ship at set sail time, the ship may leave without you. Any excursions booked directly through Royal Caribbean, you are guaranteed to get back on the ship. Because the ship is going to have direct communication with the excursion or tour group, they will wait for you, in the case that something happens where there is traffic or you are late to get back to the ship for any reason. The Anthem of the Seas is one of the larger ships in the Royal Caribbean fleet that is able to cruise through the Alaskan fjords. And as a side note, fjords are long, narrow inlets of the sea that extend far inland, often characterized by steep-sided valleys carved out by glaciers during the last ice age. Now, while you might think of cruise ships being more common in the Caribbean, a lot of these same cruise ships that are used for the Caribbean that might go to the Bahamas or Bermuda, the same ones are being used to go to Alaska. The first stop that we made on our cruise was to the capital of Alaska, Juneau, a very small town which is actually only accessible by water or flying. There are actually no major road systems that lead to Juneau because of the glaciers and mountains that surround it. Now, when you take a cruise and the cruise ship is docking at a port, a good question is, will the city or town be walkable from where the ship will dock? because sometimes this is not the case. If it's not the case, you can simply look into a shuttle if you're only interested in going into the town and walking around. But if you have an excursion that will be a distance away from the ship, the shuttle will oftentimes be included. But always good practice to double check that. When you dock at Juneau, you will dock directly outside the town, with only a few minute walk to really get into the main areas. Juneau was a really nice town with stunning views and a lively center. Now, Juneau will be one of the better places to stop for souvenirs, as it will be one of the larger towns on this itinerary, offering more things to do, see, and buy. After walking around the town for a bit, we were able to make it to our first excursion, which was a large group canoe on the Mendenhall Lake to see the Mendenhall Glacier. Now, it is true that this glacier is shrinking, so be sure to see this glacier if you are in Juneau, which is only about a 20-minute bus ride from the cruise port. As you can see, we even sailed past parts of the glacier that were just floating in the water around us. Now, there's also a beautiful waterfall that your group may stop at if there's time. Our tour guide actually brought us crackers with smoked salmon dip to enjoy while on this beach, which was absolutely delicious. But I will warn you, this is certainly a workout. Following the excursion, back on board the ship, I personally enjoy going to the complimentary main dining buffet area known as the Windjammer. And here you can have stunning views of the Alaskan fjords over a hot meal. Now, let's not forget about the Northern Lights. Watching the Northern Lights from the top deck of an Alaskan cruise ship felt like pure magic. The sea calm below, the sky alive above, and everyone quietly taking in the show. It's honestly one of those moments that makes you forget the cold completely. The next day, we made it to Skagway, Alaska. It's an amazing small town with maybe 1,000 residents year-round, peaking at about 2,000 to 2,500 during tourist season. We learned from tour guides that many of them only live here during the summertime, and in the wintertime they will go work in other places like Colorado and teach the same lessons such as kayaking or canoeing in those places. The Alaska winters are only for the true locals. The excursion for Skagway took us to Haines, Alaska, where we made our way to Chinook Lake. On the way to Chinook Lake, you will pass Chinook River, where we were able to see a mama bear and 3 cubs hunting for salmon. The Chinook Lake is well known for salmon spawning, which I had no idea anything about salmon spawning until this excursion, so be sure to Google this when you get the chance. Basically, it is when a salmon is laying their eggs and the transformation process that then unfolds. Now, one major piece of advice for an Alaskan cruise, it is very different than going to a Caribbean cruise. So of course, packing warmer clothes is one thing, but also the best advice I received was to pack waterproof clothes. I personally brought a rain jacket, and before the trip, I bought waterproof pants and a waterproof bag that I got off of Amazon, which both worked out really well for me. I felt good about this because everyone else I saw also had waterproof clothing and a waterproof bag as well. I will put a link below in the description to the exact pants and bag that I got before this cruise, if you are interested. Please note that these are affiliate links and I may earn a small commission at no additional cost to you. I reinvest all earnings back into this channel and I appreciate the support. Now, something else to be aware of on your Alaskan cruise is any kind of bad weather, which may affect stopping at certain ports. Our cruise actually skipped the 3rd stop, Sitka, because of the storm. Fortunately, this gave us more time in our last stop of Victoria, British Columbia, but be aware that Royal Caribbean does prioritize passenger safety, meaning they will not necessarily sail the shortest route from point A to point B, they will be sailing the safest route. Even if it takes them longer, if they need to, they will sail faster to make up for any lost time. And they will do their best to avoid any rocking of the ship as well. Now, after 2 days at sea, it was time for our final stop of Victoria in British Columbia. You are able to walk directly from the cruise port to downtown Victoria in about 30 or 40 minutes. You will actually walk through some really nice neighborhoods and along some homes that are right on the water. Downtown Victoria has some stunning views of the water as well as architecture. Here we're able to see the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia. After walking around downtown Victoria, the excursion for this stop was whale watching, where the meetup point was right by the cruise ship. Then you were able to walk right to the ferry that would take you out to the Bay Area to see any whales. Now, although we did not see any orcas, we did see several humpback whales as well as some sea lions. Now, this was my first time whale watching. And I will say it was so much fun being part of a big group of strangers, all sharing the same excitement of scanning the waves together, hoping to spot a whale. So, an Alaskan cruise. Is it worth it? A cruise is going to be low stress as all of your food and transportation is going to be covered when you book the cruise. Excursions will be well organized and you may see something you want to do from their excursion list that you might have not otherwise thought of yourself. It is also really hard to beat the beautiful view from a cruise ship within an Alaskan fjord. I think for this view in itself, it is worth the money. But on a cruise ship, you may be more limited to southern Alaska. For example, if you want to see Denali or Fairbanks, then maybe a train will be the best way to see Denali and mainland Alaska. Ideally, you could take a one-way cruise from Seattle as north as you can go, then take a train through mainland Alaska to see Denali. So, there you have it, the breakdown of an Alaskan cruise with Royal Caribbean. Whether it's worth it truly depends on your budget and what kind of Alaskan experience you're looking for. Let me know down in the comments if you've sailed to Alaska before or any tips that may have worked for you. As always, thank you again for watching.